I'm Connie Bryant, and I have created a performance task for my assessment design class. It meets a fourth grade social studies standard. It is standard 1. The student will analyze the physical, cultural, political, economic, and historic features and places of a region of the United States. Content standard 1, more specifically 4, analyze natural resources and how they impacted the economy of each region, including fishing, farming, ranching, mining, manufacturing, tourism, and oil and gas, and their connections to global trade. My objective that relates to this standard is students will use several sources to research the economic and physical impact of natural resources in a given region. Now, this objective relates back to the standard and ensures some validity to the performance task because it has the aspect of impact of natural resources and given regions and certain resources. They're all very closely connected. And the important part of the standard is that they're analyzing the resources and they're analyzing the impact, which are both very closely reflected within my assessment. So within the assessment, I have given the students the problem that there are several natural resources of America that are slowly being depleted. I've given them the task that they are supposed to research each one of these, well, not each one, they research a specific resource and its given region and try to basically figure out why that resource is depleting, but more specifically, researching why that resource is important. So, I have given them a checklist of things that they are supposed to research in order to find out as much as they can about a given resource and its region. So, the first item on the checklist is the region the resource comes from. Next, how each resource is being used, how much is being produced each year, where the resource is being exported, how quickly the resource can be regrown or replaced, why the resource is important, and the physical and economic impact of the resource. Now, students will use this checklist to create a well-rounded performance that explains the impact of the resource. They can use a PowerPoint, a trifold poster, or they can use a video recording of themselves talking about it like I am doing right now. So their presentation, regardless of what resource they choose or what format they choose to present it in, they have all the same rubric. This rubric measures performance, whether or not they speak clearly. It measures the information, whether or not the information that they present is accurate. It measures whether they have met all the items in the checklist, whether they have referenced the sources that they used, whether they have used 4 or more sources in their research, and their conclusion, the analysis of the impact. Why is this resource important, and how does it affect the economic and physical attributes of the United States? I've also included in the rubric that they use a visual aid that represents the resource that they are researching in order to just make the presentation a little more well-rounded. I have created this assessment to have a good deal of validity because I very closely related my standard and my objective. They both discuss the impact and the resource. It's valid because those two are closely connected, and the rubric that I use to measure their performance also closely reflects the impact of the resource. This assessment is reliable because whether students use a video or a PowerPoint or their trifold poster, they're all going to use the same rubric. They're all going to be judged by that rubric and whether or not they meet those standards. And they're all going to be using the same checklist to determine that they have all the same information within their performance. And this helps it be reliable because you can expect relatively the same sort of performance from each student. That's all there is to this assessment. That's it.